Hi everyone, happy Tuesday evening. It's Kirsten here. I want to talk to you tonight about discomfort and about the inevitability of discomfort and about how important it is to cultivate a willingness and an ability to experience uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable sensations in service of your own becoming. And I decided to come on here tonight and make this video for you guys because this week I've already had several sessions with clients where this topic has come up. And I had a really great 2 classes today at Illinois State University with my undergraduate students talking about this very topic also from a different angle. We were talking about instant gratification and the way in which we as a culture are becoming so much more habituated to instant gratification, like scrolling through, Facebook to see how many likes we've gotten, or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is, or, porn or fast food or easy access to alcohol and drugs, like all these things that give us really highly concentrated doses of pleasure quickly. But it's short-lived and it's fleeting and it's addictive, because what happens when we indulge in these short bursts of pleasure is that we have a bunch of dopamine is released in our brains, which creates this sensation of sort of transcendent well-being, but it's very fleeting. And once it ends, we crash, we come down. And so we don't like that feeling. So we seek more and we seek more, even though part of us knows that it's not good for us to do so, right? But what happens is that we are starting as a culture to confuse short-term, intense, instant gratification with happiness. And by confusing this kind of pleasure with happiness, we are also conditioning ourselves out of and away from the normal, natural experience of human discomfort that is critical to genuine flourishing, to genuine thriving, right? Just like the natural world in which we live, we too have internal weather patterns, sadness, grief, sorrow, guilt, happiness, joy, love, connection, communion, relief, contentment. And we move, we undulate between these states of beings as easily and as naturally and as non-pathologically as the sky and the atmosphere and the weather patterns around us fill with clouds and empty and rain and snow and clear up and shine the sun. And so, but we forget this, right? We are, as a culture, becoming inured to our own weather patterns, so the full range of what it means to be human, because we're becoming so accustomed to instant gratification, to confusing happiness with like super concentrated doses of short-term pleasure, and we're forgetting how to feel uncomfortable. And there's a really significant cost to that. And I see that more and more in my coaching work. It's part of the reason I wanted to become a coach, both so I can learn about this myself and learn to live my own life in a more actualized way, and so I can help other people do the same. So the clients that have kind of catalyzed this talk from me tonight with you are at crossroads of various kinds, trying to make decisions about whether to take the leap into something unknown and something new, or to stay with what is secure and familiar. We're talking jobs, marriages, business ventures, creative projects, and contending with addictions. And these are all the things that some of my clients are dealing with right now. And the conversation I keep having over and over, which is such a fascinating one, is about the fear we feel when it comes to anticipating or even feeling the discomfort that arises when we think of making a change or thinking of staying where we are, whatever it is. Right? And what I want to offer to try to distill all of this down in what I hope is a helpful way is that no matter what choice you make, there's going to be discomfort. And that's good. That's okay. That's just fine. Waiting around or hoping to find or searching for the option that is the path of least resistance, the path of least discomfort, is not going to serve us. Because here's the bottom line. You can either make a choice in service of what you know and where you've been. And I'm talking about when there's a voice in you that's saying over and over, pretty chronically, I don't know, something's not right. You sense possibility, and you get close to making a change, or you fantasize about it, but then you think, gosh, am I being irresponsible? Can I trust myself? What if I regret this decision later? Well, here's the truth that I know, and that is we can really either make one of two choices. We can make a choice in service of stasis, which more often than not is stagnation, and that's going to be uncomfortable. Or we can make a choice in service of expansion, which is to say growth and evolution, and that's going to be really uncomfortable. Both of them are going to suck for a while. That's just the way it is. But let's talk about the qualitative differences between those two kinds of discomfort and how we might discern which decision to make based on the experience we have when contending with these discomforts, rather than trying to make a decision based on which option is going to be most comfortable, right? How about instead of looking for the decision that is going to invite the least amount of discomfort, we rather accept ahead of time that any decision we make is going to be uncomfortable, so that we can just get up close and cozy with those two different kinds of discomfort, so we can really experience what those emotions have to tell us, not so that those emotions become our drivers, but so that they become data we mine and consider with intention. So here's my offer. The discomfort we feel with stagnation is exhausting. It is draining, because it is the discomfort that comes with self-denial. It's the discomfort that arises from suppressing the urge, the natural force of life that's coursing through each of us, just as it courses through the blades of grass outside, the trees, the flowers, all of nature. Everything wants to grow, right, until it dies. And we too want to grow. It's the point of our existence. But for us, rather than, sprout a new bloom, we sprout new ideas. We sprout new experiences. We reach into new dimensions of being, new adventures. We take risks, we try new things, we dig deep inside, we do inventories and reflections, we learn, we grow. That's what it looks like to evolve as a human being. And when we suppress that, when we decide that voice of more, as I like to call it, is scary, and we're not ready to act on it yet, which is totally fine, right? But when we do that over time, we reach a place of stagnation that hurts. And this discomfort shows up as restlessness, insomnia, chronic agitation, depression, anxiety, autoimmune diseases like, a lot of different ones. Colitis is one of them, which I have had. It shows up as malaise, inexplicable exhaustion, and lethargy. It feels particularly trapping because it's not a kind of discomfort that really has a release valve. It doesn't really have a generative, productive escape hatch. to practice self-denial, to make a commitment to stagnation, to choose stagnation or stasis instead of growth or expansion, is to practice a form of denial that is unsustainable. And so to quell this discomfort, we typically seek distractions. And those distractions are typically buffering behaviors that involve those instant gratifications that I was talking about earlier, like overeating or eating lots of garbage or drinking too much or, smoking too much or a lot of porn or, a lot of relational drama, whatever it may be, overworking. There are lots of ways in which we seek to dull the pain of stagnation, of self-denial. And we all do it. I've certainly been there. Every single client I've had has been there also. But that's a particular kind of discomfort that feels a particular way in our bodies. And it manifests in those ways I just listed. Choosing to act or commit to growth or expansion also is really uncomfortable. And sometimes the pain of that choice can be even more acute, in my experience, than is the pain of stagnation. And by acute, I mean pointed and sharp and in some ways just consuming. Because the pain, the discomfort of stepping into growth or expansion means contending with uncertainty and fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of humiliation, fear of, did I say fear of failure? I think I did. And that stuff, when we step into that kind of a commitment, when we make that kind of a choice, man, all of our stuff gets stirred up. All those limiting beliefs about we're not good enough, we're not enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not loving enough, we're not kind enough, we're not enough. All those old stories that we all tote about with us, those things come raging to the surface whenever we step into the unknown and really set about exploring what it's like to live beyond our perceived limits, right? All of our old stories are triggered and they're gonna flare. And so those feelings are often the feelings we're unwilling to feel when we make a choice in service of stagnation. We don't wanna risk feeling like a failure. We don't wanna risk having to contend with all of those stories, all of those voices inside that say, hey, you're not good enough, hey, you don't know how to do this, all those old voices from childhood that we've internalized, right? So those pains, those discomforts can be even more grueling for a little while, but they go away pretty quick because the pain or the discomfort that we experience when we commit to growth is a lot like the discomfort we feel when we lift weights and we want to build new muscle, right? We're literally tearing muscle. That's how you build new muscle. You rip apart the muscle that you have, and as it heals, you generate new muscle, additional muscle, right? And that's how you strengthen and grow stronger. That's exactly what we're doing internally when we step into growth, right? We're literally kind of shredding our old stories and our limiting beliefs and the thoughts that we habitually think just by default because we haven't ever really taken the time to examine them and investigate the ways in which they serve or don't serve us, right? When we step into that new space, man, all that stuff just shred. And that hurts, but it's a good hurt. It's a good hurt because we're getting stronger in the process. So the discomfort in service of growth is a discomfort that does have an escape hatch. It does have a release. It is transformational. The discomfort of growth is a portal to pleasure. It's a portal to expansion, to that exhilarating feeling of being actualized and expressed and in the zone. And it builds confidence because we're like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, I actually can do this. I'm surprising myself. I have more capacity than I thought I did. Right? That's what it feels like to be engaging our creative energies. But it's not comfortable. It's painful. Stepping into growth often means letting go of something that doesn't serve us, whether it be a person, a job, a place, a host of cherished beliefs that we've clung to forever. Even though they don't feel so good to think, we know them, they are cozy. But no choice when it comes to these stages of evolution, these crossroads where we need to make major decisions, no choice is easy. No choice is pain-free. There's not an option that's comfortable. So you might as well just decide to choose the path that's going to result in growth and expansion, which is to say the discomfort of stepping into your fears, over the discomfort you're going to feel anyway by deciding not to take a chance. Either way, it's going to be hard. Either way. So why not make a decision in service of possibility rather than making that same old decision all over again in service of what's simply and merely predictable? We all need predictable as human beings to flourish and thrive, to feel safe and secure, to take risks. But too much predictability leads to stagnation, and stagnation always leads to death unless evolution, unless growth intervenes. So I hope that was helpful. I'm super curious to know if you are contending with a crossroads like this and how it is that your anticipation of discomfort figures into your decision-making process. Has your anticipation of being uncomfortable, of feeling scared, of feeling unsure, of feeling insecure, of failure, has your anticipation of any of that stuff kept you back from taking the leap, from making a risk? Or has it even arrested the whole process for you to begin with? If so, I invite you to think about the given that you're going to feel uncomfortable no matter what. So let's just decide that. Let's just accept that and stop searching for an avenue or a direction that's going to be free of discomfort, and instead decide, okay, yep, either way, I'm going to feel I'm going to feel the pain of stagnation, or I'm going to feel the pain of growth. Which one do I want? What's the ultimate result that I want? Do I want growth or do I want stasis? Right? And then we can get down to the business of actually feeling the different kinds of discomfort that accompany either decision, evaluating them honestly, and moving forward. So, if you want to talk about any more of this with regard to your own life, you can go on my website and book a free breakthrough session with me. No strings attached, 60-minute call. I guarantee you it'll be massively helpful to you. Or if you want to just email me and talk about this, I'd be happy to do that too. But in any case, I hope this is helpful for you. I find this an incredibly interesting topic, and I will see you soon. Bye.